What purpose, gentlewoman from South Carolina, seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A1 of Rule 9, I rise to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows. House Resolution 713, censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota and removing her from the Committee on Education and Workforce and the Committee on the Budget. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a lifelong advocate for freedom of speech, civil political discourse, and the political engagement of youth. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a man of deep faith, a husband, and a father to 2 young children. Whereas on September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the campus of Utah Valley University while exercising his First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Whereas on September 11, 2025, one day after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar gave an interview on Zateo's town hall with Mehdi Hassan in which she smeared Charlie Kirk and implied he was to blame for his own murder. Whereas on September 12, 2025, 2 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar reposted a video on X, formerly known as Twitter, which disparaged the character of Charlie Kirk and those mourning his death. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X states Charlie Kirk is dead, and before the body got cold, the far right propped his corpse up as a cudgel for their holy war. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states, don't be fooled. These people don't give a single shit about Charlie Kirk. They are just using his death to further their Christo-fascist agenda. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a reprehensible human being. He enacted his political agenda by preying on weak-minded people. He took complex socioeconomic issues and simplified them by pointing fingers at outgroups, demonizing those groups, and sicking his massive following on them. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a stochastic terrorist, an adamant transphobe. He denied the genocide happening in Palestine. He believed the subjugation of women, and in his last dying words, he was spewing racist dog whistles. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein, and his monster shot him through the neck. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further blames Charlie Kirk for his own murder. Whereas Clause 1 of Rule 13 of the Rules of the House of Representatives provides a member, delegate, resident commissioner, officer, or employee of the House shall behave at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibility on the House. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar's actions in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk are reprehensible and affect the dignity and integrity of the proceedings of the House and do not reflect the credibility on the House. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee on Education and Workforce and removed from the Committee on the Budget of the House.
Let's talk about what you just watched, because that wasn't just another speech on the House floor. That was a political line being drawn in bold, unmistakable terms. Nancy Mace didn't come up there to suggest anything. She came with a formal resolution to censure Ilhan Omar and potentially strip her of committee assignments. That's not symbolic. That's serious. And the reason? Her response following the killing of Charlie Kirk. Now here's where this hits differently. Mace didn't just criticize Omar's politics. She framed this as a matter of basic decency, of how elected officials should behave in the aftermath of violence. She laid out a timeline, point by point, arguing that Omar's words, and even more, what she chose to amplify, weren't just controversial, they were, in her view, outright disgraceful. And whether you agree with Mace or not, this raises a bigger issue that's been brewing for years in American politics. Where is the line between free speech and responsibility? Because here's the reality. Members of Congress don't just speak as individuals. Every word they put out carries weight. It shapes narratives. It influences millions. And in moments of tragedy, those words matter even more. Mace's argument is simple, but powerful. When someone is killed, especially in a politically charged environment, you don't get to turn around and suggest they had it coming. You don't get to amplify rhetoric that appears to justify or excuse it. Not as a public official. Not without consequences. And that's why she went nuclear with a censure resolution. Now let's be clear, censure is rare. It's one of the most serious rebukes the House can issue short of expulsion. It's public. It's humiliating. And if it passes, it sends a message not just to Omar, but to everyone in Congress. There are limits. But here's where it gets even more political. Because moves like this don't happen in a vacuum. This is part of a much bigger battle over the tone and direction of political discourse in the U.S. Right now, both sides accuse each other of fueling division, of dehumanizing opponents, of pushing rhetoric that goes too far. What Mace is doing here is flipping that argument, saying, "No, this time, it's you who crossed the line." And that's why this moment matters. It's not just about Ilhan Omar. It's about setting a precedent. It's about defining what is, and isn't, acceptable in the aftermath of political violence. And if you're paying attention, you can see where this is heading. These kinds of confrontations are only going to escalate. The stakes are getting higher. The rhetoric is getting sharper. And the willingness to call each other out publicly? That's not going away anytime soon. So the real question is, does this bring accountability? Or does it just push the divide even further? That's what this fight is really about. If you made it this far, drop your take below, because this is one of those moments people are going to be arguing about for a long time. And if you want more breakdowns like this, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started.